Jamaica's Logistics Hub initiative will offer greater opportunities for local entrepreneurs to do business with the outside world. That will include providing needed products and services, adding value, and moving raw material to finished products. These are opportunities to grasp. We should get ready. Hi there, I'm Audrey Williams, and welcome to today's edition of Jamaica Magazine. We're so glad you've joined us. On the pages today, find out what you need to do to register your business enterprise. We'll also look at the health priorities aimed at developing human capital. Plus, we have the top news stories of the week. Stay with us.
Bamboo growers, companies involved in the manufacturing of bamboo products. Get registered with the Bureau of Standards Jamaica. The BSJ is a member of the International Network for Bamboo and Rattan, and the government of Jamaica wants to develop a standard-led bamboo industry that could lead to job creation and economic growth. Companies, your products could be stamped with the regionally recognized Jamaica Made Mark certification and the National Certification Mark. Get registered and receive quality training and international certification. For more information, call the Bureau's Special Projects Department at 926-3140 or visit the BSJ at 6 Winchester Road, Kingston 10.
Government is giving special focus to speeding up business registration and other administrative processes to make business easier. It's a priority for the new fiscal year. Registration with the Companies Office of Jamaica is compulsory. But how do you go about doing this? Let's find out.
The government agency that can direct us on the steps to register a company is the Companies Office of Jamaica. It registers local and overseas companies and individuals carrying out business in Jamaica. The Companies Office can also remove entities that have been wound up and those which the registrar has reason to believe are not in operation. Where necessary, it can initiate court action against delinquent clients to ensure compliance with all provisions of the law.
Follow me inside. Let's have a chat with the company's Chief Executive Officer, Ms. Judith Ramlogan. Hi, Mrs. Ramlogan. I'm Alison.
Hi, Alison. Welcome to the Companies Office of Jamaica.
Thank you so much for accommodating me.
You're welcome.
Mrs. Ramlogan, the registration of a company or business is a very important requirement in running your own business in Jamaica. Who can register a local company or business?
If you are buying and selling clothes as Alison Watson, well, you would need to register. But if you were, say you are a dressmaker and you are just sewing clothes for persons, then and you are doing it as Alison Watson, you would need to register. Right? But if you're doing it as Alison's Funky Garments, you need to register. A company, no, that's a separate matter altogether. A company is a separate legal entity from you then. So you would need to register. Usually, anybody who is resident in Jamaica can register a local company. You don't even have to be a resident in Jamaica. You just come to Jamaica and you say, I want to register a company.
Before the registration process can begin, what are the first things I want to consider?
Well, the name is very, very important. If you have a business name that's identical to either a company or a trademark or another business name, you will be able to register that business name. So the name is very important. Also, you need to know whether you want to register a company or a business name. If it's a small operation, you have all the money that you need. You don't need to get any loans from anybody else, then a business name is what we would suggest first. And then when the business starts to grow and you need other partners or you need people to invest in the business, then you might say, well, you know, I need to move from a business name to a company.
I am now ready to register Alison's Funky Garments. Thanks for the really great name. Tell me, what are the requirements and the documents that I need for me to register as a company as opposed to registering as a business?
I'll start with the business name first because that's a very, very simple document. You would just get a business name registration form for a sole proprietor. You could download it from our website or you could come in and get the form. Fill it up. It's very, very simple. And just hand it in. You need to bring with you your TRN. so we know who is Alison Watson. And you also need to get proof of your residential address. So a bill, a light bill, water rate, a credit card bill, whatever comes to your address, you could use that. Formation of a company is a little more technical than for a business name. All the documents are on our website, www.orcjamaica.com. So you can download them. There are 3 documents that you need for incorporation. Articles of incorporation, then there is declaration of compliance, which really is to say to the Companies Office that I have complied with all the requirements of the Companies Act. And then there's a registered office notice. You must tell us where your registered office is going to be.
Mrs. Ram-Logan, thank you so much for accommodating us. I feel much more enlightened about the Companies Office of Jamaica and what you do and how to get my business started.
You're most welcome.
After your documents have been checked to ensure that they are fully and accurately completed, then you pay the required fee. You will then be issued with a certificate of incorporation within 4 working days.
For more information on how to register a local business or company, contact the Companies Office of Jamaica at 1 Grenada Way, Kingston 5, telephone 908-4419-24.
The Jamaica Logistics Hub.
The Jamaica Logistics Hub.
The Jamaica Logistics Hub. A topical subject on the minds of many Jamaicans. What exactly is the Jamaica Logistics Hub initiative?
Logistics is the process by which businesses manage the flow of goods, services, people, information, energy, and other resources through the entire supply chain from source to end users.
The various components of the hub will allow Jamaica to capitalize on the increased trade expected to flow through the region when the Panama Canal expansion is completed in 2016.
We are not saying by that all of the project would have been finished. We are saying that there's a core set of projects and programs that must be implemented.
The Jamaica Logistics Hub, a plan in action to increase trade and grow the economy. Improving the health of the population by reducing the inequities and enhancing quality care and disease prevention is a priority of the government. It's set on developing the country's human capital to maximize the social and economic growth prospects. We'll have more in this next feature.
Organizations of all types, even governments, need capital, financial assets to succeed. People and what they bring to the table are increasingly being seen as a form of capital, human capital, the stock of competencies, knowledge, social and personality attributes embodied in the ability to perform labor and produce economic value. But organizations and the country at large will not get the full value of Jamaica's human capital if the people are not healthy enough to perform. In addition to education and an effective public service, this fiscal year finds the government pursuing a number of policies and programs to strengthen the healthcare system as part of the strategic focus on human capital development.
The ministry will spearhead the protection of individual and population health through the promotion of healthy families. Indeed, healthy families are the pillars of a healthy nation.
Achieving this goal involves more efficient management of the healthcare system, boosting primary healthcare and installing more appropriate referral systems from primary to secondary or tertiary facilities. Many strategies are on the way to ensure Jamaica's healthcare system is more effectively managed. Jamaica currently commits approximately 4.7% of its gross domestic product GDP to healthcare. The ideal is to raise that figure to about 10%. But financing healthcare is very expensive, which is why the administration has been hosting a series of public consultations to find suitable means of generating revenue to finance the public health sector. Up to August 2013, 8 consultation sessions had been held, providing a range of suggestions for public health financing. Another important gain was made recently when a single authority for sexual and reproductive health was created. It should preserve advancements already made and allow for sustainability of the national HIV program. This was achieved by integrating some aspects of that program with the National Family Planning Board.
The integrated organization will give effect to one of the key strategies outlined in Vision 2030, Jamaica National Development Plan, which is to expand and improve integration of family planning, maternal and child health, sexual and reproductive health, and HIV/AIDS into primary health care.
Meanwhile, a new level of service and experience in pharmacy service began as at August 2013. It's the start of a process to revolutionize the service, making it more technology-driven, customer-focused, and efficiently managed, with 24-hour service extended in hospitals and some health centers. And on July 15, 2013, a ban was imposed on smoking in specified public places. It represents a major step towards curbing this public health threat and reaffirms government's commitment to upholding the right of all people to the highest standard of health. Consultations continue with various stakeholders for the effective implementation of the regulations. In the meantime, the Health Ministry is optimistic about the impact that the new policy will have on reducing premature deaths from non-communicable diseases, NCDs. Government expects to break ground very soon for the last of 4 centers of excellence, which represent best practice in terms of primary health care. Their structures are being enhanced, and when completed, the facilities will be equipped with first-class medical equipment and additional health professionals. These will support upgrading works taking place on many other health centers across the island.
While we are working on the over 300 health centers in terms of upgrading not just the physical infrastructure, but the human resource infrastructure, the diagnostic response at primary level. And while that is happening, our secondary centers, hospitals, will not be neglected.
While work continues to improve the care offered at various hospitals, government is also implementing a seamless referral system for persons seeking treatment in the public health system. It involves ensuring that patients are properly referred to a health center or hospital depending on the nature of treatment needed. The referral system is being established to reduce unnecessary costs at the secondary and tertiary level while optimizing the use of resources and reduce waiting time at all levels. The Ministry of Health advancing the human development goal by securing the health of individuals and, by extension, the nation.
It keeps our bodies working, our food nutritious, our living and working spaces clean, and our lives comfortable. Water, the most precious resource necessary for the sustenance of life on our planet. Don't waste it. Let's conserve on this critical commodity. In the house, invest in storage containers and buckets. Take quick showers instead of long baths, and invest in water-efficient shower heads, toilets, and faucets. You may also want to consider one-pot meals and cooking methods that don't require much water. You could also wash fruits and vegetables in a bowl and reuse the water on your plants or grass. When cleaning dishes, fill both sinks and use one for washing and the other for rinsing. The leftover water can be used to wash off the concrete or asphalt in your yard. If you must wash your car at home, aim for once a fortnight and use a bucket to do the washing instead of running the hose. Don't delay. Start your water conservation practices today.
Common between the months of January and April, the emergence of bushfires is a burning issue for many of us, particularly farmers. But if we all exercise greater care, we can reduce such incidences. Let's now consider the risk reduction measures we all need to adopt during the dry periods.
Fire, which is one of mankind's most useful discoveries, is also one of the most destructive and deadly. Without proper care and control, the thinnest spark can lead to a raging inferno.
According to the Jamaica Fire Brigade, fire is one of the most threatening hazards in our society. In recent times, many lives have been lost to this element.
Every year we lose, on average, 40 persons from fires in house fires.
The first recorded major fire in Jamaica was during the 1703 earthquake when Port Royal was destroyed by an uncontrollable fire.
Since then, several fires, especially bushfires, have caused extensive destruction and millions of dollars in losses to the country.
The impact on the economy has been major. We have, on average, we lose close to $300 million every year in terms of farm produce from fires.
According to the experts, most of the bushfires around the world, including Jamaica, were due to careless management of open flames. During the dry season, traditionally observed from January to April each year, bushfires spread more easily due to dry, windy conditions.
We have persons in Jamaica who from time to time in the farming communities will use slash and burn as one of the ways to clear land. And what you find sometimes is that they don't take enough care to actually put these fires out after they have started them. You also find in other situations where persons might be carelessly throwing fire about an area. Like smokers, for example, they might light up and they drop the cigarette butt, or they sometimes drop the match that they use to light these fires as well.
Like their counterparts around the world, Jamaican firefighters are deeply concerned about the prevalence of bushfires.
It happens every year, starting suddenly and often without warning, leaving behind sorrow, disappointment, and frustration for the victims. It has also caused extensive damage to Jamaica's landscape, raising trees that protect the soil and help to attract rainfall.
In the last 5 years, when we speak of major fires, we have to look at the farming communities in areas like St. Elizabeth, for example. We have major cane fires in areas like Westmoreland.
Think hard. Do you really have to burn? If you must, here are a few precautionary measures you can take to avoid the spread of bushfires.
Do not use fires to clear land, especially during the dry season. Never light a fire in an open area when it is windy, as sparks may blow about and cause the fire to spread. Smokers must ensure that cigarette butts, matches, and other lighted material are extinguished before leaving the point of disposal. Do not use gasoline or kerosene to start or revive your fire. Keep a shovel and some dirt nearby in case you may need to put out a fire quickly. And if you must burn, remember to construct a fire break.
A fire break is usually an area that you would clear of approximately 15 square feet. You clear that area of everything that can actually contribute to the spread of the fire. Then you wet that entire area. And then from that, you will have the fire being lit inside that protected zone. Your responsibility to us as citizens and firefighters is once you discover an outbreak of fire, however small, you call the Jamaica Fire Brigade. Our responsibility to you is that we'll respond to this fire as promptly as possible.
In doing their duty and asking you to do yours, firefighters are trying to avoid the destruction of valuable crops and plants, the reduction in soil fertility, and most importantly, the loss of human life or a range of health problems that can develop by just inhaling the smoke that rises from these fires.
Remember, when you start a fire, it doesn't matter how small or the type of fire, you cannot be sure where this fire will actually lead to. So we always tell persons, think twice before you burn. And if you have to burn, make sure you take all the necessary precautions to ensure that the fire is contained.
If you want to know more about preventing or reporting a fire, speak with someone at the Fire Prevention Unit of the Jamaica Fire Brigade. They're at 8 to 10 Ocean Boulevard in Kingston. The telephone number is 922-2523.
Remember, to preserve the beauty of our country for this and future generations should be everybody's business. Don't light fires carelessly. This week on the Community Notice Board, the South Lawns of Devon House is closed as of Sunday, January 12, and will remain closed for 6 weeks to facilitate ongoing maintenance work. Access to the site will be restricted, and patrons will not be allowed on these lawns during the period. All other activities at Devon House will remain unchanged. For more information, call 926-0815 or 618-3623. Are you an entrepreneur looking for new opportunities? Well, you are invited to participate in the Jamaica Logistics Hub Symposium for Jamaican companies and investors. Venue is the Jamaica Conference Center from January 21 to 22. Come find out how to benefit from the opportunities presented by the development of the Global Logistics Hub. The theme of the conference is Transforming Jamaica's Business Landscape. The Embassy of Japan invites the public to a Japanese calendar exhibition with fun activities for the family. Experience martial arts demonstration, origami, Japanese games, calligraphy, and more. Come on out to this free public event from 1 to 4 p.m. on Saturday, January 25. It's at the Hotel Four Seasons on Ruthven Road. Celebrate the 50th anniversary of Jamaica-Japan diplomatic relations and Japan-CARICOM friendship. Send us your events for broadcast on the JIS Community Notice Board. Call 922-868-022 or send an email to cbishop@jis.gov.jm.
We now recap our top news stories for the week.
Hi there, I'm Simone Wolf with your JIS News of the Week. Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller led Cabinet in a two-day session this week to finalize capital spending and priorities for the upcoming financial year. The meetings reaffirmed government's 4 strategic priorities for fiscal year 2014-2015, namely the maintenance of fiscal stability, preservation of national security and justice, infrastructural and human resource development, and social protection programs. It was also announced that construction of the 360 megawatt plant to supply additional power to the national grid would begin early this year. The Prime Minister and her team also agreed that road repairs and infrastructure development would receive priority treatment in the 2014-2015 budget. Meanwhile, procedures are to be implemented to further speed up the process of establishing and the ease of doing business in Jamaica. The Ministries of Land and Housing are to speed up the transfer of titles to landowners, and several measures will be employed to improve the criminal justice system. It was also revealed this week that Cabinet was considering a potential partner for the development of the Caymanas Economic Zone, a component of the Jamaica Logistics Hub initiative. Chairman of the Logistics Hub Task Force, Dr. Eric Deans, said bids from local and international interests were received after a request for proposals was issued in December 2012.
The heart and soul of the Logistics Hub is our special economic zones. Starting with the Caymanas Economic Zone, which will be 200 acres in Phase 1 and 1,500 acres in Phase 2.
The Economic Program Oversight Committee, EPOC, is cautiously optimistic that Jamaica will pass the third quarterly IMF test, having met all quantitative targets and structural benchmarks for the October to December period. That includes recording higher than budgeted net international reserves as at December 2013 and achieving a primary balance that was more than projected.
We expect that we would have fulfilled the most important criteria to pass the third quarterly IMF test. On that basis, the outlook of the EPOC is that of continued cautious optimism that we will meet all of the IMF targets.
Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller this week called on all Jamaicans to stop covering the wrongs and commit to stamping out the scourge of crime. She made the call while addressing Digicel Foundation's 10th anniversary launch on Wednesday.
None of us can be satisfied with the level of crime. But it's not just about the government and the security forces. Communities must join hands together so we can destroy this monster plaguing our country at this time.
Meanwhile, Police Commissioner Owen Ellington said elsewhere that Jamaica was making serious strides in the fight against crime. Speaking on JIS-TV's Issues and Answers program, Commissioner Ellington said the country's crime rate was still too high, but that Jamaica's situation had improved since 2007.
The murder rate is about 35% of what, reduced by about 35% of what it was in 2007. Other serious crimes have been declining constantly. In fact, we have just completed 4 consecutive years of declines in major crimes. Last year, for the first time in 4 years, only murders show increases, and it increased over 2012.
To continue and accelerate the progress, he said a revamped community-based policing program would form part of the crime-fighting strategy for 2014. It will involve a prosecution liaison officer program, which will see police officers appearing in court on behalf of colleagues who are either investigating officers or are appearing as police witnesses.
And convince the court that these officers are available to attend and give evidence when required, but for the time being, they are on duty. What this would do is to prevent hundreds of policemen from waiting in court for hours for an opportunity to give evidence when they could be out there protecting the public.
Other strategies include deploying more mobile police officers in communities, streamlining administrative procedures through the merger of the Jamaica Constabulary Force and the Island Special Constabulary Force, and constructing more police stations in small and large housing developments. Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller attended the 2014 Caribbean Travel Marketplace in Montego Bay and challenged regional tourism players to embrace competition and become the tourist destination hotspot. She asserted that the region's tourism vision on competition was both narrow and clouded.
The vision is narrow because it does not accept that we must compete for primacy of the total product. Most destinations have sea and sun. So to compete effectively, policy must be innovative and strategy must embrace concepts of sustainability as reflected in our Jamaica's tourism master plan.
And finally, more than 13,000 residents in eastern Westmoreland are to benefit from improved water supply as a result of an $80 million allotment to upgrade the potable water distribution system in the area. The money comes from the Water Ministry's budget and is being managed by the National Water Commission and the Rural Water Supply Limited. Water Minister Robert Pickersgill said there would be renewed commitment towards expanding and improving the potable water supply network across the island this year.
We remain unswerving in our efforts to achieve universal coverage for potable water by the year 2030.
And those were some of the stories making news this week. I'm Simone Wolf.
We've come to the close of today's edition of Jamaica Magazine. But as we go about our business, if nothing else, share peace and love. And remember, we value your feedback. So drop us a line. Send an email to jamaicamagazine@gis.gov.jm. You may also follow us on Twitter @JIS News. On behalf of the team here at the JIS, I'm Audrey Williams, inviting you to join us again tomorrow. Until then, take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.